Hey, Furry and Finley here. Let's talk about internet trolls. There's 3 categories you fit in on the internet when it comes to trolling. You're either a victim, the troll, or you're just a neutral third party, don't really care. And of course you've got the wonderful thing of anonymity, being anonymous on the internet. And that's a lot of fun, especially if you're either a troll or don't care. The best thing you can do when you go online is to expect people to be anonymous and expect people to have their true self showing and have no facade. So if someone is a dick, guess what? They don't have any walls to hide behind other than a screen. They're gonna be a dick. If someone's a complete and utter racist and they can't do that in their day-to-day life, they're gonna be that online. So it's basically one of the best things about the internet is you're free to be who and what you are without restrictions. And the only restrictions that are there are the creators of the websites that you're on. Say you go into a chat site, which I frequently do. There's rules of behavior in chat sites that are made by the creator of the chat site, which is, this is our moral and ethic code. If you don't like it, fuck off. And then they get in moderators that will just sit there and observe the conversation and sometimes get involved in the conversation because, social. And if people step out of line from those laws that they've placed in, they'll just go, bye. So if you get kicked out by a moderator for being a asshole, read the terms of use before you even enter, because they'll save you a lot of bitching later on. So the best way to deal with a troll is to ignore them. And with just about every internet out there, there is a block or ignore feature. So just block them, ignore them, pretend they don't exist. A good troll will acknowledge that they've been outdone and stop. Because the point of trolling is to go about doing what you want to do without getting caught, or to have the desired outcome. If the desired outcome is to have that person rage quit and leave, job done, and they move on to the next person. So you can easily see it as cyberbullying, but in reality, it's an online thing. If you don't like what's there, you just leave. Or you block the person. And if you block the troll, they think they've won because they think you've left, unless someone turns around and tells them that you're still there and that they've just blocked you. And then the troll will still do a little triumphant happy dance of, yay, they did the thing I wanted them to do. It's kind of pathetic. And the best part is when the people that are in the indifferent zone end up inadvertently becoming trolls because, as I said, they just don't care. They go, yeah, this is the internet. Even if you get my IP address, there's very little you can do to me. I'm just going to be me, do what I do, and if you don't like my personality, well, there's the door. And a lot of people get very butthurt when you're just being you, when you're just being honest and upfront, and don't really care about the normal etiquette that you would have to have face to face. And for some of us, we don't have that etiquette to begin with. which makes for a very fun time. So that's basically what it is to be a troll. It's to get someone that rallied up that they either leave or they get you kicked out of the room. And that really only happens in social media and on multi-use international chat sites. And it is a bit of fun to piss people off and get them to get a bee in their bonnet and run around. And one of the best trolls that I've inadvertently done is just going, yeah, I'm a bitch. Get over it. And then all of a sudden have half the room change their names to their avatar title and concern for whatever name I logged in on. I had half the room do that. And you also got to keep in mind that for every chat site you go into, there's a good 10% or less that are actually active and chatting in the main site. So you've got your main room where you go in and you just do your meets and greets and you get conversations with multiple people. And then you have your private messages, which is one-on-one. And that's a bit of fun. But it does get tedious. One thing that you learn very quickly in a chat site is to keep your camera off and not to open random cameras. And there's a very obvious reason for that. You don't know if there's a dick, literally a dick, behind that camera. And you don't want your private messages getting flooded with, come and look at my dick! Because then I can see your pretty face. And trust me, even guys get it. Because apparently anyone who's remotely European looks female. I don't get how that works, but it works. And that's where in some rooms people go, oh, there's no women in here. Like, yeah, that's because most of the women in here that are active are arsehole of a troll who are pretending to be male because rules of the internet. There are no women on the internet. And the clause that doesn't exist that should is what women are on the internet are disguised as male because they don't want to deal with that nonsense that goes on with please show boobs. Like, yeah, no. It gets very tedious. But yeah, if you want to overcome a troll and you're getting hassled and bullied on a website, bring it up with admin, especially a moderator. If there's no moderator there, just ignore them, block them, or give them what they want. Leave. So there's not much you can do about them. You easily class them as a bully, but there are infrastructures put into place to cease them from causing a lot of damage. And be careful as to what links you click on when in chat sites, because it could easily be a virus. And the people that do put up links to YouTube and other such, and a lot of chat sites get kicked out anyway, because a lot of them have that as a clause of do not post or spam or whatever links to other websites, because, you know, you had to actually go online to find the place to begin with. Why advertise someone else when they've just worked hard to get there? So yeah, have fun being anonymous, have fun with the freedom to be who you truly are. Take everything with a grain of salt and grow a thick skin It's not that hard to go, hey, guess what? You're threatening to kill me? Yeah, have fun coming to Australia, because guess what? I can figure out by the way you talk that you're in America or somewhere else. So, and if you say that outright, they kind of backpedal. It's like, oh, I don't have the money for that. It's like, yep. And you're trying to threaten me? How are you going to do that? Punch your screen? You'll break your computer. Not my face. You'll break the image of my face on the computer by breaking your computer. That makes no sense. So unless, of course, all this harassment is coming from your local area, don't worry about it. And if it is coming from your local area, well, I don't have much advice to give you because I grew up in a time where not everyone had the internet and very few people had their own emails. The 90s was a great time to be a kid. So, I've got very little experience of cyberbullying. The worst case scenario I have is someone seeing my actual face and going, oh hey, I know you, I know where you live and blah blah blah, in the middle of the main chat. I'm like, well, tell me who you are and we'll hook up and have coffee or whatever. And they're like, oh no, I'm gonna tell everyone that I saw you here. It's like, great advertisement for the chat room, mate. Great advertisement. But can you really, pin anything on me? Because, screenshots, there's really nothing there to screenshot. And if they are from somewhere that knows me really well, whatever they say about me is just going to be water off a duck's back because they already know who I am and what I'm about, and they're just going to get laughed out of the room. But if you're getting an onslaught of violent threats from local people, I suggest you get the police involved and take up harassment charges, restraining orders and all that shit, because to get it from people who are close by enough to knock on your door, that is scary shit. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So if it is actually threatening in your area, seek formal advice from your local law enforcers, get a solicitor, whatever it takes to get that dealt with. But if you're running around in a chat room or if you're online watching YouTube, you're going to end up with people online giving their 2 cents and being a dick about it, and you can't be a precious little snowflake, because at the end of the day, most things that are to do with the internet, the majority of things to do with the internet, are someone's opinion, someone's intellectual thought that may not be very intellectual. So don't be offended, unless of course it's Joe Blow down the street who can knock on your door and put a cricket bat in your face. Then worry. Then be insulted. Right, then be triggered. That's a good scenario to be triggered over. But someone giving their 2 cents on the internet, yeah, that's why we have some awesome YouTubers out there that actually point out how absurd other people are and just give a reality check, and we need that. So this is a reality check. If you're dealing with trolls online, well, the best thing you can do is tell them to go back to 4chan. Or the sub-internet, the dark web. Just tell them to crawl back to whatever cave they came from, because a lot of trolls are either there or they don't intend on being there, but they really should just go there because they'd have 20 other people of their own kind in one room, and that always makes for an interesting observation. And keep in mind, if you want to be using the internet, go to Google, images, internet rules. And I know it's a bit chauvinist, but when you actually get into depth and look at the full list, it basically gives you a full-on warning of what you're getting into. And it's basically, the more innocent it is, the more pleasure the troll will get out of making it the opposite of that. Say you love Frozen or some other Disney film and it's all innocence and your childhood. If you go onto the internet, expect to find porn of it. Expect to find the gender opposite of it. Expect to find it absolutely ruined and destroyed to the point where you could never think of it the same way again. So the more sanctity to something, the more joy the users get out of destroying it. So please do check the rules of the internet that came up only God knows when. It was done as a bit of a troll point, I believe, but when you actually start reading it, it's basically a big, if you're going to get triggered over these things, don't bother going there. Just turn off your computers and throw them out the window. Because if you're going to get offended by the rules of the internet, then you shouldn't be using the internet. And that's pretty much all there is to be talking about on the subject. Don't feed the trolls. They love it. The more fuel to their fire, the more they get going, and the more ammunition you give them to throw at you. And it's glorious to watch, especially a masterful troll. So that's all for today, and over and out from the Furry and Finley.